Hi everyone. So I just decided to do a quick little playthrough of Nosedive, which is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 fan game. Well, it's more like a fan visual novel. It was created by Wink Blue and Rhoda Pomelo, as you can see at the bottom of the screen. Both really talented creators. Do yourself a favor and check them out. Okay, so we're just gonna get right into this and start up a new game. Just want to say that this is not my first time playing through this, but I'm kind of just going off the cuff with low reaction thingies or whatever. I don't know. You'll get more of my actual reactions when part 2 of this comes out, which should hopefully be pretty soon. Alright, let's get going. You come to your senses in a bar. You don't recognize your surroundings. You've never been here before. And you don't know how you got here either. Your head is pounding. There's someone talking to you. And so the girl just like,
So, what do you do, huh? I bet you're like a monk or something.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't expect good voice acting from this. So let's go on here. The girl continues to flirt. You look around. How did we get here? Let's find out. I assume you've been on another bender, but how did I get here? The girl looks at you in confusion.
Through the door, duh. You walked in here a bit after I got here.
If you could, you would have grimaced. Just want to say as a little side note that this art is freaking fantastic. Rhoda Pomelo, you did an amazing job on this, especially with the shading. Like, this is some really good shit. Like, even though it's kind of sketchy, pixelated, sort of, it really makes for a good art style, especially in this sort of noir type genre. Alright, let's keep going. Can we remember? You try to remember how you got to the bar, or anything else. But you can't remember anything at all from the last few days. It's all coming up blank. You try and remember anything further back. Last week? Nothing. All you can remember is a scramble of non-linear images, as if they happened to someone else. The girl is still talking at you. What are we drinking? Well, it looks like whiskey, but let's just play along. You smell your breath against your hand. There's a smell of alcohol, but not strong. How much have I had to drink? The girl is surprised by the sudden interjection.
Not much. You've only had a few sips of your whiskey.
Anything else?
Are you okay?
We feel some eyes. Okay, I'm digressing again. This little siren effect thingy, it's really cool. I really love how they got the GIF thing to go in the background all the while. And these signs over here look amazing too. You look around the bar. The bar is fairly empty, save for a couple other lonely figures drinking by themselves. Hello, Malone. The bartender eyes you and your drink. The lights. You notice the lights flickering across the bar's walls. They're coming from across the street. accompanied by the wail of sirens. look out the window. You see, amongst the police cars and the small crowd gathering in front of a motel, a stretcher with a black bag being loaded onto one of the ambulances. That could have been us. I have to go over there.
What?
That should have been you. I meant to ask. What's happening over there? The girl puffs in annoyance, rolling her eyes and shrugging.
At the chateau? Who fucking knows?
We'll investigate. What else do we do here? We hear from the officers that it's a drug deal gone wrong. Someone was caught in the crossfire. And there we have it, our title screen, Nosedive. Day 1. So this is just the first chapter of the visual novel, I suppose you could say. Hi, Mista. I don't even get why we're investigating this case. Can you please be professional? Stop. That's what you from you. Let's keep your shitty attitude in check. At least until we're out of earshot of the town. You groan, crouching down to feign interest in the blood spot. In your eyes, everything about this case is already tied up in a neat bow. Some poor soul got caught in the crossfire of a drug deal gone south. A shame, surely, especially given that the victim was in his early 30s. But it could have happened to anyone. It was just a matter of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Though by the look of the motel, it doesn't take a genius to determine that it's always the wrong place. Yeah, this motel looks pretty generic. Pretty gray, but I guess that's the point of the whole game. And the wrong time. Well, let's take a look around. While Mista talks to the local precinct sole detective, you take a look around the crime scene. Alright, let's actually get to some action in this game and view the exhibits. Why don't we start at the bottom of the pool? I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that pool's been emptied. It'd be pretty funny to see if Abakio could try to swim down there with all those heavy clothes on, though, let's be real. Exhibit E, a burner phone. It had been fished from the bottom of the pool. The water had heavily damaged the device. Exhibit B, bloodstains. It had come from the bullet wounds of the victim before he fell into the pool. I really like how they implemented this little point-and-click section over here. It, I don't know, kind of reminds me of Ace Attorney, but at the same time, not really. Exhibit D, the Vogue magazine. The victim had been reading it by the poolside. Fingerprints on it matched his. Alright, let's take a look at the Exhibit A on the other side of the fence. Exhibit A, bullet casings. The gun the bullets were shot from has not been identified nor found. They are the same caliber as the other set of bullet casings. The victim was shot from here. guess from what we can see here, gunman was over here, and he shot down this way, like where my mouse is going, and then that left the blood splatter and the magazine over there. And then I guess he just yeeted the phone into the pool. I don't know. Let's see what's over here. Exhibit C. Footprints. Shoe prints from at least 3 different pairs of shoes. Okay. Let's see what's in the last one. Exhibit F. Bullet casings. Again. The gun the bullets were shot from has not been identified nor found. They are the same caliber as the other set of bullet casings. But there aren't any other bullet holes in the area, nor bullets. What was this suspect shooting at? Alright, that's everything we can look around in here, so why don't we go ahead and rejoin Mista. You notice that Mista seems to be done with his conversation. As the cleanup crew approaches, you make your way to Mista's side. Local police dismiss themselves with the promise to offer any assistance they can. Alright, let's join Mista for a smoke. You join your partner Mista for a smoke outside the motel. Because the severity of the crime is beyond what the small town police can handle, you two have been called down from the city to handle the case. Oh yeah, nice little pop of green amidst all the grays and stuff like that over here. The motel is in a small coastal town, adjacent to a defunct beachside community. It doesn't have much to offer, except cheap rooms and a now empty pool that had been drained for cleaning. There's a bar across the street, connected to a Chinese restaurant. Besides a couple of grocery stores and novelty shops, there's not much the town has to offer. It's fresh ocean air, but the town mostly smells of low tide. Discussed the file with Mista. Luckily, there was only one casualty and no one was seriously injured. The shooters had managed to flee the scene and were still at large. The police suspect that this could be a lead to busting a drug trade supply chain. You two were assigned to figure out the identity of one of the victims, or rather, his role in the incident. The person in question didn't have any form of identification on him. And no one has come forth to identify his body either. He didn't seem to have any relation to the event, but this wasn't certain. Why are we looking into this? He was just some poor bystander who got caught in the crossfire. What if it wasn't random? The police aren't convinced that some dude would just get shot like that. Plus, an eyewitness said that one of the shooters aimed directly at him. He wasn't just hit with some stray bullet. Do you really think anyone staying here is a reliable witness? You can't assume that. Just do your fucking job, Abakio. I know you're pissed about being reassigned to this, but if we bust this case, we could bring the kingpin down. You know what a big deal that is, right? With a annoyed huff, you take the file from Mista. You hate to admit it, but he was right. Alright, let's look at some photos. Or, I guess not. The file is sparse, only containing a 3-page police report, various crime scene photos, and a preliminary autopsy. We flip to the last page. Oh, there's our man. There's Bruno. Hey Booch, you're looking pretty dead there, ain't ya? You pause on a photo of John Doe, laid out on a white sheet. You think that the person has kind eyes. Oh, well, he does, doesn't he? Never forget that one smiling shot before everybody leaves on that boat. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen part 5. You feel sad, but you can't explain why. Hey, Abakio! He says, shaking your shoulder, snapping you out of your daze. Hey! Where'd you just go? You snap the file closed and hand it back to him. Nowhere, just like this case. The picture tugs at a thread in the back of your head, quickly replaced by the instinct not to pull. You both decide to go to your rooms for the night. Got a pretty nice setup in there, I must say. The room feels familiar to you. But then again, all cheap motels look identical. Let's settle in for the night. And then we got a little bit of fan service here. Because of course we do. So now we're going back, watching some TV, having a water. Or screwdriver. You get settled in bed with a screwdriver and a plastic cup and turn on the TV. You widely flip through the limited TV channels before settling on, ironically, a true crime show. Being from the city, the sound of nothing but the wind unsettles you, but even so, you fall asleep. And what do we dream about? Oh, there he is. There's our man. And that's it. That's all for the first installment of Nosedive. Before I end it, I'm just gonna show off a little bit of the side features, like the fic, the gallery, etc. And also I'll leave the links to both of the devs down in the description, as well as a link to an official Discord for this game, so you can track the progress, and hopefully once it comes out I'll be back on it with another installment of this little Let's Play. Oh, it says they have a Ko-fi page, so I'm going to link that as well. Alright, let's see what we got over on the side. Alright, here's our gallery for days 0 and 1. We got all our CGs. There we go. There's the lights. Alright, now day 1 CGs. There they are, all of them. And also, I'm just gonna scroll through with what they got for the fic. I can't can't remember whether or not this fic is on AO3, but if it is, I'm gonna also provide a link there. See how well it stacks up to what's presented in the game. And that's all for now, for Nosedive. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully the next time I record this, it'll actually be live, so it won't be as boring, I guess. Okay, let's end it.